Hi, welcome to Grit and Grace Lab. I'm Margot, and I will be experimenting with my real life, real alignment, and real transformation. This isn't a channel about perfection, it's a channel about coherence, the kind that Jesus taught about, and the kind that modern science can finally measure. And I'm really excited about that. It's intriguing to me. Um, I'm going to be talking about heart alignment and presence so that I'm evolving and that hopefully maybe it reaches out to someone. But my goal is really about how I'm coming along through the experiences I've had in the past and the ones that I currently will probably continue to go through. So the situation for me, I used to think that faith was about belief, about religion, about a set of rules, checklist, about being good. Um, but now that I'm older and I've been knocked around, uh, life's knocked me around. I realize the more I realize that faith isn't belief, faith is alignment, faith is coherence, and faith really is a state of your heart. Mm. And I didn't learn that in some sort of sermon or mass or in a church. I learned it through losing my peace and then slowly finding it again. And in that, how did I do that? I did connect with people. I have been a person of faith, of going to church. I've not always. Sometimes I've been real into it, and other times not. But I'm more about. I think today I will confidently say I am about the belief, believing in what Jesus taught about his message, and not the religion around it or any other religion. Um, I'm interested in talking to and listening to people, influencers, podcasters, family, my kids, my grandkids, anyone that's going to add value and help me add value to myself and the world. I'm about it. I think that's the message that Jesus was really talking about so long ago, and a lot of us really we skip that. Um, so, but this is why I really wanted to start talking. I like to talk. So I'm like, why don't I just create a podcast and I can just share it out there into the Ethernet? Is that what it's called? Um, anyway, I realized that I did need to make some tweaks. I had to stop. I had to stop treating faith like a checklist and start really thinking about it as a frequency. I had to stop trying to control the world or people in the world. I had to realize it's not like really realize consciously, like all the time, because there's been spurts throughout my life when I know this, when I knew this, and when I think that people out there, you know this as well. Um, but I can't try to control how one person is treating someone or behaving, that guy or this girl or that group, and why this and why can't they do that. uh, Rather, I really want to stick to just me and introspecting um, about my own behaviors and my own thoughts and my own reactions. And I want to be now at a place where I'm like 90% of the time or 100% of the time at peace. But I think 100%, that's really, really tough to do. Um, but I need to really start regulating my heart. And I can say this, for the last about 7 months, I've had this burning pain in my chest because I did go through something very painful this past year. And I needed to really figure out how can how can I move this out of my chest? That was, that's a difficult thing to do, is to have faith and believe in prayer and pray, right? Faith and belief, and then pray. And yet it's still there. And I think I was just out of alignment, and I needed to figure out what can I do to change that. And I started really tapping into some questions I really had that were not resolved just in prayer and just in listening to someone reading scripture. But I did actually find some neuroscientists and quantum physicists that are talking about how we have the abilities within us, which Jesus really told us long ago. And I'm not really about the religion around Jesus. I'm about Jesus and his message and what he showed in the way that he talked the talk and he walked the walk. Is that how it goes? And I think that's pretty cool. I think he's a pretty cool dude. Um, I also had to stop thinking that I had to wait, like I have to wait till the end of the week or till I'm in a church or till I'm around someone else that is more along this path or elevated or more with all the right words to speak to me about faith, right? Wait 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road or till I'm at the pearly gates themselves to finally be like face to face with God and be able to go, okay, now you can answer this. Now it'll help me. Um, and I really had to start thinking about stuff I've thought about for a long time, but really I'm like with real intention and understand that God's not just outside and around, he's within us, but we sometimes we don't make that connection. That's why we don't hear him and we don't talk to the universe. We don't talk to the creator of all things because we are unaware that we have the power to do that. Um, and I also had to start realizing what Jesus really meant and said when he said the kingdom is within you. A divine supreme being that created everything. It was energy that we come from. It's within me, it's within you. I have a spark, and that spark can get brighter and brighter and connect with other people who are also, evolving right now. And I think we're at a time when a lot of us are doing that. Where a lot of us are coming awake or asking questions to get to another level that because we know this isn't it, and some of us have known this for a long time. So there is a power within us, and that's where I am right now. This is one of the main reasons that I'm decided to start doing this little podcast or channel. um, and this has changed for me, right? This has helped me to change that heart coherence, knowing the kingdoms within me. There's some other people that I'm going to pull from that I like to listen to or that I learn from. Greg Braden, I really enjoy listening to this man because he's so calm and he has so much um, research and to talk about and to give us. And he wasn't afraid to go beyond the boundaries of the limits of what is acceptable to think. I really like that because he's like, I'm stepping out in this because this is what I'm thinking. This is what I want to learn about. But he's so calm, and I feel like he's well knowledged in a lot of the stuff, and he does recognize the power of um, Jesus's message. He teaches that actually touching the heart center helps to the mind shift from the head to the heart, which is important. Um, because when we're trying to control the world and everyone else, we're thinking from the mind and reacting up here, and we're not putting it in alignment with our heart, right, from here to here. This is all over here, our heart's going over there, and so it's causing more chaos than anything. David Bears, actually, I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he was showing monks and mystics and even Jesus, I think even the Buddha, where they literally place their hand maybe in the praying position over the heart, and as well maybe with an open palm. Greg does it with an open palm, but I started to do this, and let me tell you, it's really helped me. Modern science even confirms that touching the heart activates the nervous system and helps to enter coherence. What is coherence? It's, what is that? It's when, first of all, coherence is real and it's a measurable state, and it's when the rhythm of your heart becomes smooth and ordered and steady. Your breathing synchronizes with your heartbeat. Your nervous system calms down. Your heart is sending a clear, clean signal to the brain and the brain to the heart. Your emotions are regulated, and your intuition actually increases, and your whole presence becomes more peaceful. Coherence, signal, and the heart field. It's important. And Jesus actually taught this long before science could even measure it, guys. One thing he said was, do not let your heart be troubled. He didn't say, don't let your brain be troubled or your mind be troubled. He said, don't let your heart be troubled. Why would he always talk about the heart and about love? That's very important. To think about, especially if you are from a religious background like Christianity. Why is he always touching on that? And there's that science behind it now. He also said that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what is what's in your heart? What's in your heart? Because that's going to come out. That's going to come out. And don't think that being silent or ignoring people and not speaking isn't speaking, because it is a form of communication. So if you're one of those people that turns your head away or pretends you don't hear someone speaking, I've known people like this. They've done it directly to me. It don't really bother me when they do it to me, but when they do it to someone else that really doesn't deserve that, it's just, I don't know. There's something about it that's just wrong, and it's not coming from a good place. And it's because they're going through their own, issues, that person, whoever's doing that. But the kingdom is within you. So what is it that you want to draw from? What is it that you want to come forward and outward? Um, Jesus wasn't talking about religion when he said these things. He was talking about coherence and getting that aligned. Um, and all of this helps us grow, and it helped me grow when I started to be more consciously aware about it and applying it. It has helped me grow. Now, it has happened throughout life. It's happened where I'm growing, but sometimes we were not aware of it. I'm not aware of it. I didn't know, but I get through it. But now I'm more like awake about it. And when I started practicing that heart coherence, not perfectly, but with intention, like I said, everything started shifting. My reaction softened, my communication changed and got better, my anxiety lowered, my relationships became more purposeful. I was more aware and open to others, whether it be my coworkers or my students or my family members. My son and I started having conversations that didn't collapse and fall into old patterns. I don't want to fall into old patterns, because there's a lot of old patterns that I've looped back into that are not helpful, and I know because of that, the state of my body and how it was reacting and feeling. I have students the last couple of years, they the last 2 years really, well, a couple too. They're like, "Hey, you have a lot of aura, miss. You're farming a lot of aura." Um, and I'm like, "Well, it's not you got a lot of aura, but I find that to be funny, like the grammar part of it, but it's part of the way they speak." And then they're like, "Do you know what it is?" And I'm like, Do you know what it is? And they didn't really know. A lot of the kids didn't know what aura was, your energy field. And then it was funny to hear them like they're just in shock that, an adult would know this word. Um, that's always fun. Middle schoolers. My chest stopped burning literally like a week ago when I really was doing this heart mind coherence, these techniques for breathing and really thinking about what I wanted, like how I wanted to something to be more at peace for me. I guess I would say it's like a surrender. You're surrendering to the creator, right? Here it is. I feel this way. I'm not embarrassed about it. This is this is where I want to be. This is where I know I need to be at this point, where there is peace within me. That doesn't mean that you you can't bring love with you, but there are other things that you've got to release. Um, and so in the moment, like just one moment to the next, the burning sensation left, and I was left really in awe about that. And at the same time, there was there was a show in the background, Heroes. It's on Netflix right now, and these words are showing up on the closed caption, and they literally were like speaking to me about where I am right now, and I thought that was very interesting. And then that little song was in the background, and I found that to be very interesting. That it was like an evolution right there, and I could see it. And I think they call them synchronicities, where I'm seeing something while I am feeling it all at the same time, and it was pretty cool. And it really pumped me up to go, you know what? I want to share, and I like talking, and I'm just gonna go ahead and record myself and create a channel. I've been wanting to do it for years, but I just never did. Initially during COVID, I wanted to. I had a couple of very close people, a couple of family members that laughed about it and whatever. And it bothered me, and it bothered me so much that I decided I wouldn't do it. And when you're in the state of what's good and what's loving, it should produce something that you create, and that's something that you want to create that's good. And for whatever reason, I decided, no, I better not. It's kind of embarrassing. And now I guess I'm a little older. I'm in my 50s, so I'm like, whatever. I'll just do it. I didn't become perfect through this. I haven't become perfect, but I'm aligning to where I want to be a little bit more every day. And the evidence behind the scriptures that we find about what Jesus said and the science, you know, Jesus taught heart alignment. Science can measure the heart alignment, and your life reflects heart alignment. Dr. Joe Dispenza, his research has shown that the heart sends more information to your brain than your brain to your heart. And, they both are emitting a frequency, y'all, an energy level. And when you're really in tune, that heart energy level can now be measured. And it's like, I think it's been measured 3 to 5 feet out from a person. And with some, it can even, I think they said measured at 8 feet, which is quite a bit of ways, So I prefer to be someone that is going to be able to add value to myself and others than someone who's going to shrink back into a little capsule and keep that darkness somewhere, closed up. And by darkness, I mean being asleep, being unaware that we're not producing something good for ourselves and for others. Like there's a level that we know. But then when is it that we stop and decide to do the other thing? But I don't think that if I say, well, we're doing something and we're aware it's not helping us or others, and I would say that's part of the dark, but that doesn't mean that you have you have bad intentions. It's more like you're just unaware of how you're keeping yourself in this backward loop. Um, Religious wise, if I use the word evil, I think that evil doesn't even fit in dark. Although it is dark, but it's like even darker than dark, because I feel like evil is when you intentionally do something that harms yourself or harms other people. And you're doing it because you find some humor in it, or some short-lived energy build up for some reason. That to me, if you do things with the intent to harm someone else and you know it, to me, that's evil. But if you do things and you didn't mean to harm someone, but your absent-mindedness or being asleep uh, does it, then that's something else in my mind. But I want to be in the light side. I want to be awake, consciously aware of it. And I've been going through this pain this past year, and I'm awake to it. And I'm good with it because I've grown from it in a way that I'm awake. And I haven't fallen into old patterns that I run back to do something that isn't good for me. And I'll talk about those things in upcoming episodes. Gray Braden shows that intention only works when it's paired with an elevated emotion, and elevated, not dramatic, but elevated in the sense of gratitude or mindfulness, love, patience. David Bears also teaches that faith is a frequency, not a belief. And Jesus said, if you have faith, nothing will be impossible for you. So you hear all of these are describing the same mechanism, but they're being taught by different people in different ways. And I think it's pretty cool, the things that we've learned. So I'm going to say right now, I'm going to go ahead and in my creation moment right now, because I'm about to end my episode, but I'm going to go ahead and put my hand over my heart. Take a deep breath and hold it, and then release it through my mouth. So, and Greg Braden talks about the science of the breathing, and I've also been doing Tai Chi, which I enjoy. But you inhale, let's say up to a 5 count, and release longer. So your inhale is actually a little less than the exhale, but inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. I put my hand on my heart, and when I'm doing it, I am speaking an intention, I guess, or a prayer. And I'm going to say right now, alignment begins here while I'm breathing. So while I'm breathing, you can't read my mind, but I am saying alignment begins here. Heart, presence, and alignment, so important. This is episode 1 of Grit and Grace Lab. This is the foundation, the heart, the science of scripture, the coherence, and everything I explore from here on out builds on this. If you're here, you're in the lab with me. It gets messy listening to some of my experiences, but you'll see me experimenting and evolving and aligning and sharing. Uh, Sharing. So I'm creating. I'm hoping to create and not collapse, and I hope that you're willing to create and not collapse with me. So subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in episode 2, Tactical Grace, where I talk about an incident that happened to me when I was in the army. Yeah, I was a soldier. Peace.